You are listening to the Outlaw Podcast with me, your host, Andrea Hall. I am a certified equine gestalt coach, speaker, 3-time author, and lawyer. I help women lawyers who are miserable in their career, struggling with mental and emotional health issues, wanting to have fun in their lives, and struggling to be selfish. After fulfilling my dream of being a criminal defense attorney and opening my own law practice right out of law school, I thought I had it all. While at the height of my career, my 18-month-old puppy died, and I thought, what am I killing myself for? Sometime later, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and my world turned upside down. It was in that moment I realized something had to change. This podcast is about sharing my journey with you about what is possible in your life outside the legal profession, stopping the adulting, and being able to play as a child, inspiring you to dream again. Let the journey begin.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Outlaw. I'm your host, Andrea Hall. As you can hear, I'm still pretty squeaky. I lost my voice yesterday, and so I did a written post on the Withers Whisper page instead of actually going live. And so today I am catching back up with you. And I want to talk about this I feel like I need to mourn statement. With everything that is happening, it almost feels like a death to me. There is so much that has changed for me personally just within the last week. I was coming home from being in Florida for 10 days and I had heard things on the news. However, for the most part, things around me had not really changed. The situations in the airport were still the same as when I had left on the 1st of March. However, once I got back home and started to settle in, things really started to shift and change very quickly. First thing I noticed was this huge run on toilet paper and people starting to hoard, and it kept posting on Facebook that Amazon was out of toilet paper and the local stores were out of toilet paper. And I thought, this is the coronavirus. As far as I know, you don't get like a run of diarrhea and we're gonna run out of toilet paper. The next thing I started noticing is that hand sanitizer and hand wipes or being hoarded and you weren't able to find them, and baby wipes, and mothers with children were saying, why are you taking all of these things? I need to take care of my children. And then it was crowds. Events were starting to get canceled, and they were saying that you shouldn't gather with more than 250 people, and then it went down to 50 people, and then it went down to 10, and now it's down to you shouldn't be gathering at all. Churches, restaurants, liquor stores, things of that nature were getting shut down and are shut down. And it feels like the death of a loved one to me. And that this whole process of what we knew life to be last week, even yesterday, is different than what it is now. And with death comes with it all sorts of emotions, like shock and anger and blame and sadness and frustration and questions like, why me? And I see these thoughts and feelings being played out with so much stuff that's getting posted on Facebook, whether it's on my regular feed or in the lawyer groups that I'm in. It's this constant negativity where it seems like people repeatedly are focusing on this sadness and anger and frustration and why me. And surprisingly for me, I've actually experienced more shock than anything. And to me, it's the shock of not necessarily being prepared. And I remember that same feeling like it was yesterday when I heard the doctor tell me I had a brain tumor, right? And I immediately went to, oh my gosh, what does my life look like? And what happens because I'm not prepared for the people that are potentially going to be left behind? And so this time has once again given me an opportunity to focus on that instead of the anger and the fear and the frustration. And look at what affairs do I have in order and what things do I actually control. Things like, is my will up to date and current? And who will take care of my animals and all of my horses? And who can get access to my bank account? Who's going to pick up the phone and call my current clients and former clients and figure out if they have money in the trust account? Do I actually have my affairs in order? And some of them I do. And others, it was a wake-up call once again for me to check back into that and make sure that I was okay. And if I'm not okay, how do I make sure that I am okay? Because this is one thing I can control right now, right? And that's, I think, part of the panic that most people are feeling is they feel out of control. They feel like things are falling apart and they don't know where they're going to be day to day, let alone minute to minute, right? And all of these emotions are absolutely okay to feel, right? What's not okay is to get stuck in any one of those emotions and stay stuck and not release it, not express it in a healthy way, not feeling it, let it bubble up, right? So many times we stuff it. In fact, just before I got on here, I saw somebody make a post like, is anyone feeling like this is a bad breakup? Like you're sitting on the couch with a pail of ice cream in front of you, gorging yourself, laying in the fetal position, wishing you could fast forward about 3 or 4 weeks and get through all of this and not have to feel any of what's going on right now? Does that resonate with you? I know so many people are feeling that right now. Like they just want to sit on the couch and binge, watch Netflix, or hoard, some ice cream and gorge themselves with that. And for me, the victim mentality doesn't work either. That wallowing, that's not serving you. If you look at any great tragedy, there is always great things that come of it. Always great things that come of it. You, I, society, the legal profession now has an opportunity like no other in the past to make a huge shift and change in our thought process and how we move through the day. This is a huge opportunity for that. And I just want you to think about a few things, some things to consider moving forward. Things like, will you continue to work from home or go back to your office? An office space that requires you to take clients that you may or may not want to have. Overhead that is above and beyond what you can afford. Office staff that you have to pay for. All of these things have pros and cons. All of them. Things that you can look at though during this time to decide what will serve you in the future to potentially reduce your stress, to potentially keep you safe from anger, fear, frustration, disappointment, that ugly question of why me? Do you continue to grind things out and work 100 hours plus a week. 100 plus hours a week is pretty normal for a lawyer. And what is the cost of that? Will you continue to let your relationships fall apart with your significant other, your children, family members? At what cost? Or do you choose to leave work early and have dinner with your family? Actually sit down and enjoy time with your family like you're probably doing right now. And you're doing that because you've been forced to do that. Do you take time off and go on a vacation and enjoy time with your loved ones? Do you actually come home from work and not answer your phone and emails and leave your work at the office? You've been forced to do that this last week, right? Because there is a lot of people that I'm finding that don't know how to work from home, didn't have things in place to get access to clients when they're not at the office or files. This is an opportunity to see what changes need to be made in order for you to be successful, especially when tragedy hits. Will you continue to compromise your health and your safety for the welfare of your clients and others? Or will you decide to focus on your self-care and work out, eat healthy, meditate and journal, and just be a human being and not a human doing? Because that's what's comfortable, right? That's the status quo. That's what we've gotten used to. That's what I got used to in the legal profession, is doing, and not being. And taking me out of the game and not focusing on my self-care. I started that at the beginning of the year, and I think that is one of the reasons why this process of what we're going through in the world right now has made things easier for me. Because I've had an opportunity to de-escalate almost 3 months prior to this hitting, right? So I had the opportunity to take time for myself, to journal, to meditate, to eat healthy, do a cleanse, to start working out, to once again focus on my self-care, my creativity, my femininity, so that I could fill me back up. Because if my cup is empty, I have nothing to give to anyone else. And I think that's a big problem with us women, is that we continue to give and forget to fill ourselves back up. These are all questions and many more that you now have time to focus on, that you didn't have time to focus on a week ago. And why? Because you were going 100 miles an hour. And now you've been forced to stop. And yes, it is out of your control. Yet you can still focus on it. And why? Because you've been forced to slow down and escape the things that once kept you distracted on a regular basis. Being at work, clients, phone calls, emails, judges, prosecutors, opposing counsel, your kids, your significant other. The excuses, all of the excuses to keep you pulled away from you, connecting with you. The government, this virus, is forcing you and the world to look at your situation head on and decide what will serve you in the future. Let me say that again. The government, this virus, and the world is now forcing you to look at this situation and decide what will serve you in the future. This is an opportunity like no other, and you more than likely won't have this opportunity again in your lifetime unless something tragic happens to you like it has happened to me in the past with my brain tumor. You have time, and time is on your side at this moment. What will you choose to do with this time? Will you continue to avoid and escape by watching TV? Continuously scanning Facebook? Sticking your nose in a book? Playing video games? Or will you choose to connect with yourself, your children, and your significant other? What will you choose? Yeah, we make jokes about how many divorces will happen and parents waiting to kill their kids as they work at home because the only time they need then is when they are only time the kids need them is when they're on a conference call and are interrupting them. Or how many babies will be born as a result of this lockdown. All of those things make us laugh to release the pressure valve on the current situation. It just takes enough of that pressure off the valve that we feel like we can somewhat relax. But unfortunately, it doesn't resolve the situation because that pressure will continue to build once again until the valve needs to be released. No matter what the situation is, it is changing. What can change is your outlook and your perspective. That is the only thing you have control over in this current moment in time, is your outlook and your perspective. My question for you is, what will you choose? What will you choose? I want to leave you with this thought, and that is, what tools or knowledge do you currently possess that can help you in this current situation? The same thought process that created this situation is not the same thought process that created this situation is not the same thinking that can create the solution. It's time to be still and quiet the brain that is running rampant with stories that I presume are not making the current situation better. The only thing you can control is you. Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? Continue to mourn, feel those feelings, yet provide yourself with an opportunity to choose something different for your future. And don't look at it as this is a have to. Look at this as a want to. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Outlaw.
Thanks for tuning into another episode of Outlaw. There is life after litigation. If anything I said in this episode resonates with you, call for a free exploratory session to see how I can help you. My horses will give you instantaneous feedback, unlike traditional talk therapy. You will shift your awareness into real time with the help of a horse. The horses are like lie detectors, flushing out limiting beliefs with a swish of their tail, a shift of their 1,200-pound body, or a simple unwillingness to move. Horses have a way of seeing into the window of our souls. Horses have been connected to humanity since the dawn of time. Their hearts can heal and mend our broken hearts. Simply standing in their presence can change our lives forever, putting the puzzle pieces back together and returning us to wholeness. Horses are restoring the parts of us that have been missing. You can call us at 970-682-4405 to set up your appointment today. Want to be inspired daily? See about our latest events or purchase a copy of my books? Go to our website at www.witherswhisper.com. That's www.witherswhisper.com. Or or you can follow us on any social media venue at Withers Whisper. Until the next episode, listen to the whispers.